my beloved child. Something is already moving toward you, quietly, deliberately, with a weight you cannot yet measure, and this is not imagination, coincidence, or wishful thinking. For a long time, events around you seemed random, people appeared uncertain, conversations felt unfinished, and moments ended without answers, but beneath that silence a decision has been forming. Someone has been holding words back, not because they forgot, not because they lacked courage, but because the timing was never right until now. You were not meant to hear this information earlier. You were meant to grow into the version of yourself who could receive it without fear, without doubt, and without losing direction. This is why the signs felt confusing, why progress seemed slow, and why your patience was tested repeatedly. What is approaching you carries clarity, and clarity always arrives after endurance. This moment is not loud yet, but it is inevitable. When it reaches you, it will explain things that never made sense before, and suddenly, the past will stop feeling scattered. Everything that felt delayed was actually aligning. Listen carefully now, because this part matters more than you realize. The person who will approach you has been observing you from a distance, not in secrecy, but in reflection. They noticed how you handled silence. They noticed how you stayed composed when answers were missing. They noticed how you kept moving forward even when recognition was absent. What is coming is not small talk, and it is not casual. It is information that has been withheld because it changes the way you see yourself. This is why their energy around you has felt unstable, sometimes close, sometimes distant, sometimes warm, sometimes unreadable. They were carrying something heavy, and heavy truths are never delivered lightly. This approach will feel sudden, but it has been rehearsed in their mind many times. They have replayed the conversation, rewritten sentences, delayed the moment, and still failed to find the perfect opening. When they finally speak, it will not be dramatic, but it will be honest, and honesty has a way of shaking foundations quietly. What makes this moment powerful is not what they say first, but what their words reveal underneath. You will realize that your presence triggered something they could not ignore. Not because you tried to impress, and not because you demanded attention, but because your consistency exposed their uncertainty. They reached a point where staying silent became more uncomfortable than speaking. This is why the approach is unavoidable now. They have crossed an internal threshold. You are about to understand why certain opportunities paused, why certain reactions felt delayed, and why some connections felt unfinished. The news they bring is not meant to overwhelm you, but it will recalibrate your sense of importance. You will see that you were never overlooked. You were being considered. Carefully. Seriously. With consequences attached. This is the kind of realization that does not explode outward, but settles deep within, changing how you walk, how you respond, and how you value your own presence. Do not underestimate the emotional weight of what is coming next in your journey. When someone approaches you with something they struggle to say, it means you were significant enough to disrupt their comfort. They are not approaching because they suddenly woke up brave. They are approaching because avoiding you no longer works. Your growth made avoidance impossible. The moment will feel calm on the surface, but internally it will rearrange priorities. You may notice a pause after they speak, a silence where both of you feel the shift. That pause is where understanding lands. You will recognize that the power dynamic has changed, not in dominance, but in clarity. You will no longer question whether you mattered. You will no longer replay old moments searching for meaning. Meaning will stand in front of you, spoken plainly, without decoration. This is the kind of moment that people remember years later, not because of excitement, but because of the peace it brings. Hold your focus here, because this is only the beginning of what unfolds. The approach is not the end. It is the opening. Once the truth is spoken, everything around you starts responding differently. Choices become clearer. Paths separate naturally. You stop chasing explanations, because they come to you. This is why you were guided to hear this message now. Not earlier. Not later. Now. You are ready to receive without confusion. You are ready to stand steady when someone finally says what they should have said long ago. And when that moment arrives, you will not rush your reaction. You will listen. You will understand. And you will realize that something in your life has officially shifted forward, never to return to uncertainty again. My beloved child. The moment after their words will feel strangely quiet, as if the world itself paused to let the truth settle inside you. Do not mistake that stillness for emptiness. That silence is where your awareness expands. You will notice how your body reacts before your mind does. Your breathing shifts. Your posture changes. Your eyes no longer search the room for validation. This is because what they bring removes a question you have carried for far too long. When a long unanswered question finally meets truth, the soul responds first. You were prepared for many outcomes, but not for the calm certainty that follows clarity. This is the kind of realization that does not create chaos. It creates alignment. You will sense it immediately, even if you say nothing at all. Understand this carefully. The approach you experience is not just about them speaking. It is about you being seen fully for the first time in this dynamic. They will not say everything perfectly. Their words may stumble. Their tone may soften unexpectedly. That is because speaking this truth exposes them as much as it empowers you. You will realize they were never in control of the situation the way you imagined. They were responding to you, adjusting to you, measuring themselves against your steadiness. This awareness changes the emotional balance instantly. You will no longer feel like someone waiting. You become someone deciding. This shift is subtle but permanent. Once it happens, you cannot unsee it. What follows next is where most people lose awareness, but you will not. After the truth is spoken, their behavior will begin to change in ways that confirm everything. Actions will align. Effort becomes visible. Intentions stop hiding behind excuses. This is not because they suddenly became different. It is because the weight they carried has been released. And when someone releases a burden connected to you, their energy toward you becomes direct. You will feel fewer mixed signals. Conversations gain purpose. Moments feel grounded. This is how you know the revelation was real. Truth always simplifies. Confusion belongs to avoidance, not honesty. There is something deeper unfolding here that you must not ignore. This moment is also a test of your self-worth. Not to see if you accept them, but to see if you accept yourself at this new level of recognition. You may feel tempted to minimize what happened, to stay familiar, to pretend this does not change things. Do not do that. Growth requires acknowledgement. You do not need to confront or celebrate. You simply need to respect the shift. When someone steps forward with something they feared saying, it means your presence mattered enough to demand truth. That alone elevates your position in your own life. You are no longer guessing your impact. You are witnessing it. Stay present now, because the energy around you is reorganizing. What you tolerate will change. What you expect will refine. You will notice that situations that once drained you start falling away naturally. This is not loss. This is recalibration. The approach you experienced opened a door, but walking through it depends on how clearly you honor what just occurred. You were not chosen by accident. You were not approached randomly. This was the result of who you became while no one was watching. And as this realization anchors itself within you, you will feel a quiet confidence rising, one that does not seek approval, because it already knows its value. My beloved child. After the approach settles into reality, you will notice something unusual happening inside you. The urgency to explain yourself will disappear. The habit of overthinking responses will loosen its grip. This is because clarity removes the need for defense. When truth stands openly, you no longer feel the pressure to prove your intentions or justify your past. You will sense a grounded strength replacing the restless energy you once carried. This strength is not loud. It does not announce itself. It simply stays. And in staying, it changes how others respond to you without you having to say a single extra word. Pay attention to what unfolds next, because this is where the transformation becomes visible. People around you will start reacting differently, even those unrelated to the situation. Respect increases subtly. Interruptions reduce. Opinions carry more weight. This is not coincidence. When your internal certainty aligns, the external world adjusts. The person who approached you will also feel this shift. They will realize that by speaking their truth, they awakened something in you that cannot be reversed. You are no longer standing in anticipation. You are standing in awareness. And awareness changes the direction of every interaction that follows. There will be a moment where you reflect on the past, not with regret, but with understanding. You will see why delays were necessary. Why silence protected you. Why unanswered questions shaped your resilience. You will recognize that if this approach had happened earlier, it would have confused you. Now, it empowers you. Timing was not accidental. Timing was precise. This realization brings peace rather than frustration. You will stop wishing things happened sooner, because you will see that sooner would have been incomplete. What arrived now arrived whole. What you must guard carefully at this stage is your inner balance. Do not rush to redefine relationships or make declarations. Power grows best when it is stable. Let actions unfold naturally. Let consistency reveal intentions. You do not need to test anyone. Truth has already done the testing for you. Your role now is to remain aligned with what you know. When you do this, you will notice that decisions become easier. You stop forcing outcomes. You stop chasing confirmation. Life begins responding instead of resisting. As this phase continues, a quiet confidence will anchor itself deep within you. This confidence does not come from being chosen. It comes from knowing you were always worthy of honesty. The approach you experienced was not the peak. It was the signal. A signal that your presence has weight. That your energy influences direction. That your silence was never weakness. And as you move forward from this point, you will do so without urgency, without doubt, and without looking back at who you were before clarity arrived. My beloved child. As time moves forward after this moment, you will realize that the real change is not external. It is internal, precise, and irreversible. You will no longer feel pulled in multiple directions by uncertainty. Your mind will feel quieter, sharper, more decisive. This is because doubt was never your nature. Doubt was a response to missing information. Now that information has arrived, your natural clarity resurfaces. You will begin trusting your instincts again, not blindly, but confidently. Decisions that once felt heavy will start feeling obvious. You will recognize when to engage and when to step back, without guilt and without explanation. Notice how your emotional reactions begin to refine themselves. You will not react out of habit anymore. You will respond with intention. Situations that once triggered anxiety will barely touch you. Words that once lingered in your mind will pass through without attachment. This is not emotional distance. This is emotional mastery. You are no longer seeking reassurance from the outside world because something inside you has stabilized. The approach you experienced acted like a mirror, reflecting back the strength you forgot you carried. And once you see yourself clearly, you cannot return to self-doubt. There will come a subtle moment when the person who approached you realizes the impact of what they started. They will sense that you are no longer waiting, no longer hoping, no longer uncertain. This realization will change how they move around you. Respect will deepen. Caution will increase. Not because you are unapproachable, but because you are no longer predictable. You are grounded. Grounded people do not chase. They choose. This dynamic shift places you in a position of quiet authority, one that does not need to assert itself to be felt. You may also notice that opportunities begin aligning without effort. Conversations open at the right time. Support appears where it was absent before. This is not luck. This is alignment responding to your internal clarity. When you stop questioning your worth, the world stops testing it. You will feel a natural detachment from outcomes, not because you do not care, but because you trust yourself to handle whatever comes next. This trust is the foundation of true stability. It cannot be shaken by opinions or delays. Stay anchored here, because what unfolds after this phase builds upon everything you have endured. The approach you experienced was not meant to pull you back into old patterns. It was meant to elevate you beyond them. You are no longer defined by what you wait for, what you tolerate, or what you hope someone else will decide. You are defined by your awareness, your restraint, and your readiness. And from this point forward, every step you take will reflect that something within you has fully awakened. My beloved child. There will be a moment soon where you realize that nothing around you needs to be forced anymore. The pressure you once felt to make things happen will dissolve on its own. This is because you are no longer operating from uncertainty. When you move without doubt, life meets you halfway. You will feel this in small, undeniable ways. Messages arrive at the right time. Conversations unfold naturally. Doors open without struggle. This ease is not coincidence. It is the reward of internal alignment finally taking form in the outer world. What becomes even more powerful is how you begin to recognize truth instantly. You will no longer debate what feels off. You will no longer second-guess what feels right. Your discernment sharpens. You sense intentions before they are spoken. You notice shifts before they become obvious. This awareness is not suspicion. It is wisdom earned through patience. The approach that started all of this did not just bring information. It activated your perception. You are now operating from understanding, not hope. And understanding gives you control without effort. There will also be a quiet separation taking place. Some people will naturally fall out of rhythm with you. Not through conflict. Not through confrontation. Simply through difference in awareness. You will not feel anger toward them. You will feel acceptance. Growth does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it moves things out of the way gently. This is how you know you are evolving correctly. Nothing is being taken from you. Only what no longer matches you is being removed. At this stage, your presence alone becomes influential. You do not need to explain yourself. You do not need to persuade. Your calm speaks. Your certainty sets the tone. Others will feel it, even if they cannot describe it. This is when you step into a version of yourself that does not react to the world, but responds to it thoughtfully. You become selective with your energy. You protect your peace without apology. This is not detachment. This is self-respect finally becoming non-negotiable. The approach that once felt like the main event was actually the signal of your transition. You have crossed a threshold that many never reach because they abandon themselves too early. You stayed. You endured. You listened. And now, you move forward without needing confirmation from anyone else. The next phase of your life will respond to who you are now, not who you were waiting to become. And this is where your true momentum begins. My beloved child. As this new momentum builds, you will notice that your sense of timing becomes sharper than ever before. You will feel when to speak and when to remain silent. You will sense when to move forward and when to pause. This is not hesitation. This is precision. Life will stop feeling rushed, because you are no longer chasing outcomes. You are aligning with them. Each step you take will feel intentional, as if you are finally walking in rhythm with something greater than urgency. This is how mastery begins. Quietly. Without applause. Without announcement. There will be a subtle shift in how you view challenges. Instead of asking why something is happening, you will instinctively understand what it is shaping within you. Resistance will feel pointless. Acceptance will feel powerful. This is where your emotional intelligence deepens. You will handle complex situations with calm authority. Others may expect reactions from you that never arrive. Instead, they will encounter composure. This composure is not indifference. It is control rooted in self-awareness. You are no longer pulled into emotional turbulence that does not serve your direction. The person who once approached you will continue to reveal themselves through consistency, not promises. You will observe rather than assume. You will listen rather than interpret. This patience places you in an unshakable position. You are no longer waiting for proof. You are allowing it to show itself. And in doing so, you maintain your power. This is the difference between hoping and knowing. Hope needs reassurance. Knowing needs nothing at all. At this stage, your intuition becomes your strongest guide. You will feel drawn away from distractions that once consumed your attention. Noise loses its appeal. Depth becomes attractive. You will crave meaning, not stimulation. This refinement is not isolation. It is elevation. You are stepping into a phase where your energy must be protected, because it now carries direction. You will understand that not every invitation deserves your presence, and not every explanation deserves your voice. Recognize what has truly changed. You did not gain control over others. You gained command over yourself. This is why everything feels lighter, clearer, and more aligned. You are no longer shaped by uncertainty. You are guided by awareness. And from this point forward, every interaction, every decision, and every path you choose will reflect the quiet strength of someone who has finally stepped into certainty, without needing permission from the world. My beloved child. You are now entering a phase where your presence alone changes outcomes before words are exchanged. You will notice this in subtle ways. Rooms feel different when you enter. Conversations shift direction without effort. People listen more carefully, even when you speak less. This is not influence gained through force. This is authority earned through self-command. When someone is no longer internally divided, the world responds with alignment. You are no longer reacting to circumstances. Circumstances are adjusting to you. There will be a moment when you realize how much energy you once spent trying to be understood. That effort will feel distant now. Understanding no longer feels like a requirement for peace. You will accept that not everyone needs to comprehend your journey for it to be valid. This acceptance frees you. You stop shrinking explanations. You stop correcting perceptions. You allow truth to reveal itself through consistency. This restraint becomes your signature. It speaks louder than any justification ever could. You may also sense a growing respect from those who once underestimated you. Not because you demanded it, but because your stability exposes their assumptions. Some will feel inspired. Some will feel uncomfortable. Both reactions are normal. Growth creates contrast. You are not responsible for managing how others process your evolution. Your responsibility is to remain aligned with who you have become. When you do this, respect arrives naturally, without negotiation. At this stage, your decisions begin shaping long-term outcomes. You will choose based on alignment, not emotion. You will recognize that temporary satisfaction often costs long-term peace. This awareness protects you. You will walk away from situations that once tempted you to stay. Not out of fear. Out of clarity. Clarity makes detachment feel natural. You no longer cling to what drains you, because you recognize your own value too clearly to compromise it. As this part settles, understand this deeply. You are no longer preparing for change. You are living inside it. The approach that started this journey was merely the spark. The fire now sustains itself. You are moving forward with calm intention, unshaken focus, and a grounded sense of self that does not seek validation. From here, every step you take carries certainty. And certainty transforms everything it touches.